Hello, all of you. We are live here to clear the most commonly asked doubts. How is your preparation going on, especially CMA students who are writing exam in June and CA students who are writing the exam in September? So a lot of doubts are coming in the WhatsApp Challenger group and the Telegram group also. First of all, keep sending doubts. If it is click the picture, send it. I'm clearing it with voice note. But lot of similar doubts are continuously coming. In spite of clarifying this earlier, I thought let me take a live and clarify for all of you. This we will make it very quick, very to the point. That is how to distinguish that you have to solve the problem with old tax regime or with the new or the default tax regime. Okay, so for this request is DT compiler with the booster notes, question answer, all is available in the Telegram group. You have revision videos, you have practice batch, all 30 videos for DT, 30 videos for GST and custom, all in the playlist. So check it. I have solved each and every MTP of the CMA June 24, of the CA May 24 for costing for tax. Just completed 2.5 hours of live costing class, but this was a very important doubt, repeatedly asked. So quickly sharing the screen and clearing it with all of you. Okay. Now in the exam, I'm writing something here, and if you wish, you can also write. If they ask you section 115 BAC, okay. If they ask you section 115 BAC, okay, just 2 minutes. पहले एक notebook में ही लिखते हैं इसको, 2 minute लगेगा. This is the clarifying video. So even I want to make it as quick and fast as we can. Yeah. Check with this. If it is your section 115 BAC or 1, you can say, you are opting for default tax regime, which is actually the new way of tax calculation, new tax calculation. For whom it is applicable? Individuals and HUFs. Okay. If nothing given in the exam, you have to opt for default tax regime, that is section 115 BAC, new tax calculation, that's default, wherein 0 to 3 lakh tax is not there, 3 lakh to 6 lakh 5%. I'll clarify more about it. Now, if they say in exam that the person has opted for 115 BAC 6, listen carefully. If it is section 115 BAC 6 in upcoming this MTP of CMA Inter June 24, many places they have asked this. CA exam also it was clear, but they said if he has opted for 115 BAC means he has opted out of default tax regime. Especially this default tax regime, especially this is asked for set of carry forward problems. Because in default tax regime, the rules are different. Here it is different. So if they say the person has opted for 115 BAC 2, 6, sorry. Yeah, this video is applicable for inter-final, all the students. That means he has opted out of the default tax regime. Calculate the tax as per old regime. Ma'am, what is old regime? 0 to 2.5 lakhs, nil, 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs, 5%, 5 lakh to 10 lakh, 20%, and so on. Here for every 3 lakh increase, it's increasing by 5%. Shall I repeat? In exam, if they say the person has opted for default tax regime, nothing given, do default tax regime. Ma'am, बताया नहीं exam में which option we have to select. Default tax regime. If they give person has opted for 115 BAC, default tax regime. 0 to 3 lakh wala. But if they say 115 BAC 6, means he has opted out of default tax regime. Or they will clearly say that he is going for old regime, or some of the exams they call it as he is going for normal taxation, not the default taxation, normal taxation. means your routine tax rates you have to follow. Here, the rebate is available up to rebate under section 87A is available up to 7 lakhs. Means 3 lakh tak to tax ही नहीं है. 3 lakh to 6 lakh 5%. मतलब how much tax will come on the next 3 lakh 5% means 15,000. And 6 lakh to 7 lakh on 1 lakh 20%. That is 1 lakh cut 20% matlab 10,000. So up to 25,000 there is no tax. In the default tax regime you get a rebate. Here rebate is up to 5 lakhs and the limit is 12,500. Because 0 to 5 lakh it's nil, 5 lakh to 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh it is 12,500. Here you get seniority benefit 3 lakh, super senior citizen 5 lakh. Here no senior citizen benefit. For all the citizens, whether you are 83 years, 85 years, 73 years, it will be the same basic exemption will be 3 lakh. I'm making it as simple as possible. Now coming to heads of deduction from this year, financial year 23-24, a major amendment is there. In salary, standard deduction 50,000 will be allowed here also, here also. Same way, family pension, which comes in income from other sources, 1/3 or 15,000, whichever is lower, is deductible here also, here also. Followed all of you? Now, important. There are many points, but I'm taking important ones first. Income from other sources, self-occupied property loss you cannot show. Ma'am, self-occupied loss will only come because interest on loan is deductible up to 2 lakhs. That you cannot show in the default tax regime. You can show self-occupied may loss if you're filing your return in normal tax regime. Income from house property losses, you can mutually set off. House 1 let out, house 2 let out, take may profit or loss, you can set off. House property loss cannot set off with other heads. You cannot set off. I'm not referring any book right now. From my mind, I'm doing it. I'll refer and show you the DT compiler. You can take a printout of at least these pages in the DT compiler from the Telegram. Okay, it's pinned over there. Income from house property may you cannot. So you remember here you can set off the loss up to 2 lakh. Loss can be set off. So you can set off house property loss with salary with business head in normal tax regime up to 2 lakh. Here you cannot set off. In business head, basic depreciation is allowed at both the places. Here also, here also. Additional depreciation is not allowed here. Here it is allowed. Scientific research, here it is not allowed. Here it is allowed. All deductions, ATC, ATD, not allowed here, allowed here, except a very important change here. ATC, ATD, mediclaim वो सब यहाँ नहीं मिलेगा. ओल्ड जो हमारा नॉर्मल टैक्स रिजीम है वहां मिलेगा, डिफॉल्ट टैक्स रिजीम में नहीं मिलेगा. नाउ एक्सेप्ट ATCCH2, you know Agniveer Corpus Fund में employer can contribute. Employer can contribute, allowed at both places. National pension scheme, employer can contribute, allowed at both the places. Clear? So these are the important things I think I have covered majorly. Now I will also refer the book so that your exam is coming nearby, and any doubts are there, any doubt are there, you can ask me. Yeah, one more deduction is there, 80JJAA, जो है ना 30% of the additional employment, it's allowed. फिर से देखो, nothing given in the exam follow default tax regime 115 BAC. If they say person has opted out of default tax regime or person has opted for 115 BAC clause 6, means he has opted out of default tax regime. He is filing default tax regime 115 BAC normal. Here tax rates are 3 lakh, 3 lakh to 6 lakhs. Here like this. Here rebate is allowed 7 lakhs. That is tax will be deductible up to 25,000. Here it will be up to 5 lakh rebate and 12,000. Here no seniority benefit in 115 BAC. Here you will get the seniority benefit. From this financial year, very important update, standard deduction 50,000 from salary is allowed in both regime. Family pension, 1/3 of 15,000, whichever is lower, is allowed in both regime. In house property, self-occupied, you cannot show a loss in default tax regime. There you can show a loss. Then in house property 1 and 2 and 3, if there is a loss which you cannot set off, interhead losses are allowed to be set off in normal tax regime up to 2 lakh with other lakhs. Ma'am, 2 lakh से ज़्यादा है तो carry forward करो 8 years. Here you cannot set off. Basic depreciation is allowed at both the places up to 40%. Additional depreciation is allowed here if it is a factory, I mean, a manufacturing company, 20% and all. Here it is not allowed, right? Scientific research, not allowed. Here it is allowed. Then along with the scientific research, yeah, 35 AD, specified businesses, not allowed. Here allowed. Deductions, here not allowed. Here allowed. Except 80 CCH2 from this year, Agniveer Corpus Fund, those who are working in army, central government as employer is contributing in Agniveer Corpus Fund, that deduction can be claimed. National Pension Scheme, Atal Bima Yojana, employer is contributing, they can claim. 80 JJAA, they can claim. Okay, right. Now, very important thing is no AMT. If you are going for default tax regime, you cannot opt for AMT. Basic MCQ question can be asked. Whereas if you are opting for old tax regime, that's your normal tax regime, you have to compare the normal tax A or the AMT B, whichever is higher you have to pay. Now for AMT, I have already recorded a separate lecture of 15 minutes. Check that. Ma'am, when we will go for AMT, if you have taken section 10 AA SEZ wala deduction or 35 AD deduction, specified business, okay? और एक कौन सा है 80 JJAA, those employment 30%. So if you have taken these deductions, because of this deduction, if your normal tax is say 10 lakhs, but at the rate of 18.5% is AMT is coming 13 lakhs, you have to pay 13 lakhs. And this tax credit can be carried forward for 50 days. I don't want to divert and go detail into AMT. If you are filing your return in default tax regime, no need to opt for AMT. If you are filing your return in normal, and if any of these deductions are there, add back and calculate AMT also. AMT or normal tax, whichever is higher. That or 115 BAC, whichever is lower. Clear to all of you, then you will go for it. Okay? I think I have given all the best material, but I am going little fast because I feel your time hardly 10 days left for the final exam. So study very well. Any doubts you have, and if you felt this has clarified many doubts, ma'am, कब कौन सा regime लेना है? In question number 1, especially for CA Inter, CA final students, आपको तो compulsory आता है. Question number 1 में calculate the tax as per 115 BAC. If they say जो अच्छा है ले लो, तो you calculate default, you calculate normal, and whichever is lower you take it. But otherwise problem में specifically if they say he has opted out normal tax regime, if he is there in the default tax regime, calculate tax accordingly. Check. This is DT compiler with booster notes, question answers all available in the Telegram group. It is applicable for individual HUF AOP. Tax rates are 3 lakh nil, 3 to 6 lakh, 5 lakh, 6 to 9 lakh, 10%, and so on. Okay. AMT is not available if you are going for default tax regime. Rebate under 87A is 7 lakhs here, there it is 5 lakhs. Special income, special rates. Surcharge, yeah, I missed out. In normal regime, the surcharge is 37%. Here, the highest rate of surcharge is 25%. Okay? And standard deduction and family pension is allowed in both regime. Now, what will not be allowed? Leave travel concession will not be allowed if you are opting for default tax regime. HRA will not be allowed. Special allowances, education allowance 100 per month, hostel 300, वो नहीं मिलेगा. Daily education allowance to MPs, MLAs. Yeah. In allowances, if you are getting uniform allowance for official purpose, that's deductible both old and new. Okay. For every minor child, 1500 per child exemption is given. Right? Here. Okay. Tax holiday for the units. SEZ, you will not get section 10 AA SEZ exemption. Yaad hai? Total turnover, total profit, export turnover. No. You will get it in the normal regime, not in the default regime. Acha, with this, in both the regime, ma'am, will we get the gratuity, leave salary, pension, all that exemption? Answer is yes, you will get that at both the places. But what you will not get, that is this case. Leave travel concession 4 calendar years, no. HRA, no. School and all, hostel expenditure, no. For every minor child, 1500 per child, no. SEZ, no. Entertainment allowance, no. PT, no. Transport allowance for handicapped, you will get. Conveyance allowance for official tour purpose and all. Standard deduction you will get. Interest on loan you cannot deduct. I have just discussed in the table. Additional depreciation you will not get. Scientific research in house, outside, national laboratory, nahi milega in the default tax regime. 35AD specified businesses, cold storage, warehouse, no, you will not get. 35 triple C, you will not get. 80C to 80U, you will not get any deduction in default tax regime except national pension scheme contribution by employer. Agniveer Corpus Fund by employer, and 80 JJAA 30% of additional employment. You can't carry forward losses related to these deduction if you are filing your return in default tax regime. Purana 35AD loss, if it is there, you cannot set off. Clear? Depreciation will be allowed 40%, additional will not be allowed. Okay? And if depreciation carry forward is say 10 lakhs, but in that normal is 6 lakh, additional is 4 lakh, additional will not be allowed. Now, so you cannot claim additional depreciation. Earlier you have claimed, and because of that there is a loss, you cannot claim. Yeah? Acha, those who are not having business income, they can decide every year. You want to go for 115 BAC default tax regime, normal, your choice. If you are having business income, you have to decide once. If you opt in, you cannot opt out with business income. With business income, you opted in 115 BAC. You filed your return in default tax regime. Now you don't want to file. Come out. Again, lifetime you can't go in till you have business income. Yeah, other than business income, every year they can decide. Okay? And this is a problem solved with both the options and the comparison also. Which regime, what are the tax rates? This is also a very nice problem covering up both. So these problems you can check. My emphasis was on doubt clearing. Do tell me if this video is helpful to you, and do you want a live doubt clearing, which 2 decades of experience? Sure, if you ask me on screen 15-20 minutes of live, let us decide and clear all your doubts. You can ask me doubt from return of income, from PAN, jo puchna hai, GST, income tax, costing. And if this live doesn't work, let's not waste your time, my time. Keep sending your doubts. Click the picture, send me message. Wait, I will surely clear it with voice note. Very all the best to all of you for upcoming exam. All my best wishes are there with you. Lot of material I have put in, everything. All DT compiler, GST compiler, custom notes to the point. 4 classes of custom are there. सब notes भी दिया है, सब videos भी हैं YouTube में. Just take the benefit and get amazing result.